Welcome to Season 5, Episode 10 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak life, encouragement, and truth into the minds and hearts of educators and get you energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts on how to make big decisions, like whether to change schools or grade levels. Visit truthforteachers.com to get the transcript, links to recommended resources, and to share your thoughts on the show. So this is the time of year when many teachers are facing huge decisions about their careers. And while that can feel like a burden, I think we should start by acknowledging that having choices and options is a privilege because not every teacher has a say in these issues. I know many of you aren't sure if you're even going to have a job next year because your teaching position has been cut. Your decision might be whether to look for another teaching job or find a different career altogether. Others of you are wondering, should you stay home with your kids or save up for another year first? Should you try to get a job at another school? Should you ask your principal if you can take that open spot at another grade level? Should you apply for that position as an instructional coach or an administrator? In many ways, these are deeply personal questions that no one can really advise you on. There are so many factors to consider, and only you know them all. And only you understand the relative importance of them all. So rather than give you advice about what to do, I'm going to teach you my system for making these kinds of big decisions that don't have a clear right or wrong answer. I've changed schools 5 times, and I've changed grade levels 3 times. I've relocated to other parts of the country for work twice. And I always felt confident about the choices that I made because I created a system that helped me think through every aspect of the decision and weigh the options not just on an intellectual, rational, logical level, but also on an emotional and heart level. The process is really simple. Just make a weighted pros and cons list. I'm going to include a free one that you can download by going to truthforteachers.com, or you can just use a blank piece of paper. You need 4 columns in your list: the pros of staying and the cons of staying, and the pros of changing and the cons of changing. So make these 4 columns and then list out all the possible reasons that might go in each section. Write it all down. Anything that pops into your head that might be good or bad about each choice, no matter how silly it may sound. Your sentimental reasons are totally valid. No perk and no potential problem is too small to include. Put it on the list. You can do most of this in one sitting, but you may think of things later that you want to go back and add. Once you feel confident that you've listed out all the pros and cons for each choice, you're then going to weight them on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of importance. For example, if a pro is that this new job would cut a lot of time off your commute, that's probably worth the full 5 points. So write a 5 next to it on the chart. If there's a con that the new school has a parking lot really far away from your classroom, that might just be worth 1 point. Go with your gut instincts as you're doing this. Don't try to talk yourself up or down when you're assigning points. If something feels on the first thought that it's a 3, give it a 3. After you've assigned a point value to everything on the list, you're ready to tally up each column and subtract the cons from the pros. So if you have 35 points under the pros for staying and 15 points under the cons for staying, the total score for staying is 20. Do that same math for the option of changing your current teaching position, and whichever option has more cumulative points is your final decision. Now, here's the really powerful part about making a weighted pros and cons list and why it's been a foolproof strategy for me every time I have a big decision with no clear right or wrong answer. When you're writing the pros and cons out and you're deciding how much to weight them, you're going to find yourself instinctively wanting to be more lenient with one choice over another. You'll find yourself penalizing one argument more harshly and wanting to overlook or downrate problems with the other. When you notice that happening, I want you to realize that this is your intuition speaking. This is your inner wisdom surfacing, what you truly feel in your heart of hearts. This is the right choice. You will complete this list and either feel excited about the result that is clearly the best choice, or you'll find yourself wanting a redo. You'll look at the list and say, well, this was really close. Let me look at the point values that I gave here. I actually think maybe this reason is more important than I thought. Maybe it should be weighted more heavily. You'll notice yourself wanting to skew the results the other way. If so, listen to that intuition and follow it. Now, that's how the process works when the decision is basically in your hands and the final choice is up to you. If this is a decision that your family members and loved ones need to be involved with, you can either include their opinions and the effects on them within your own list, or make the list based purely on your own feelings and show it to your significant other afterward. She or he may want to add to the list or make his or her own, which you can then compare and talk through. Remember, you can go to truthforteachers.com and download the weighted pros and cons list now and print out as many copies as you need. I want to give you a final piece of advice here when you're weighing out your options for a big decision. People tend to regret the things that they didn't do more than they regret the things they did do. If you don't make a change in your life, you will always wonder, what if? You're less likely to wonder what if you choose to keep things the same because you already know what that reality is like. Often when I talk to teachers who are weighing out their options, they know that what if will haunt them if they don't take a leap of faith and create change in their lives. They're really wanting to do something different. And 9 times out of 10, they truly believe the change will be the right decision. But change is scary. They're looking for me or someone else to say, you're not crazy. You're not crazy for uprooting your life or wanting to take on something new. It really is all going to work out for you. You should do this. They want someone to affirm what they already know deep inside. They want someone to help them push back the fear and make sure this decision really is the right one. And that's why working through all the issues through a weighted pros and cons list is so powerful. It doesn't deny the fear or the reasons for the fear, but neither does it allow you to make a decision based solely on that fear. It will help you make the decision based on a well-reasoned analysis that affirms your intuition. I'd like to leave you with a motivational quote for the week ahead from Nelson Mandela, who said, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic week. You can do this. And remember, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it. Truth for Teachers is a proud member of the Education Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. For more great podcast recommendations, go to edupodcastnetwork.com. That's edupodcastnetwork.com.